Hello again. So we've been going through interfaces and I just realized that there's some things I won't be able to do without having a save game. So this is more of an impromptu video to go through how to create a save game, how to save your details, and then load them. So from there, everything loaded can now be used on the interfaces as it needs. So first things first, if you need to create your save game, the way you do that is animations folder right here. So right click on your asset browser and you could just click blueprint and search for save game. There. So this first option here is what you select. And then with that selected, you'll have something like this. So it's an area you can set up the data that you save for each user. So the data you set in here will be used across all, if let's say you're using US multiplayer again, across all your players. So you see, these are the things I have, at least for now. And what you see here, I think it's basic for me. You probably don't need all these. I'm saving the last location, so every time you load the game, it'll pop up right where you left it. Uh, that's that's probably not going to be a very good thing. Let's say if it's a war game and you despawned maybe in the middle of enemy zone. So you may need to find a different way. For my setup, last location just works fine without anything else. Player homes and the homes owned by the player. It's actually supposed to be player properties. Let me rename that. Player properties. Active mission, the mission you're currently playing, mission progress, how far you've gone. So just let's say the name of the latest mission you've played and completed. This will be the last mission checkpoint. I'm not using that yet, but the purpose of this would be, if it's a racing game and you have those checkpoints, or it's an air, collect air checkpoints and stuff like that. Active mission. So let's go ahead and see how we use these data that you have here, the bank balance, save context. For now, I'm going to just use the last location. We'll go through the rest later on. So I have components to handle everything. So the same way we have components on the interface, on this side we have actual components, and these is actually called components even in Unreal. So to create them, just search for component. Pretty sure it's somewhere in the drop down you get when you right click. So select after component. After component with that selected, I just give it a name you want. So I already have this for today. I'm going to work on the mission. If it appears this way, just click on Open Full Blueprint. Full blueprint. Uh, so first is first. Let me create a custom event. Custom event to load the player progress. Let's call it load progress. And then another custom event to save progress. So this function checks if you've already played the game before and then starts populating the world based off of your own settings or progress. This one will save your current program progress. So if you don't have anything else, if it's the first time you're playing the game, it'll start by creating a new one for you. So let's create a variable here and call it player. Let me see how I call it here. String active game slot. Okay. So I'll just call it game slot. And change this to string. Then drag it here, get game slot. And then what you do is you find a save game. It's a game save or save game. Uh, find the save game with slot. So sorry. Okay, so does this one checks if the game already exists. User index, I think is for basic single player, user index 1, 0 will be fine. multiplayer you may need to do some extra stuff, fully aware of them yet. I'll go through them later on. So does save game exist? If yes, so punch here. If it does, you load games, load them from slot. So load game from slot. And then with the game loaded, let's cast it to our player progress. Okay, cast it to player progress. And because I know that's the only thing I'm using, I usually just convert to pure cast. So this works for me. Let's check if it's valid. I think we could convert this to valid get. Oh no. So let's promote this to variable and call it the progress. So let me disconnect this one and give this a different name, custom and get active game. Okay. So by default, this game slot for me is usually autosave. I could have it as a different thing. So that way, if your player creates different instances, you'll have a bunch of save files which they can load. We'll go through that later. So with this done, we're going to load player progress, right? Load progress. And in the load progress, we're going to select or get the player progress. And then from there, I'm going to get location. So I'll get last location. Sometimes your last location is not on the map. Maybe they click through a landscape and now they're falling, then they rage quit. To handle that first, let me see. Usually I check if it's not 00, but in this case, I think 00 for the map I'm using is right below the map. So the concept here is you can have a bunch of conditions here to check the maximum X, maximum Y, maximum Z. So with that, I think you could easily reset the player's location. And resetting the player's location for me, usually get all actors of class player start, and then I'm going to get random. No, just drag it out and type random without the get, random array, item, then get location for this item, at actor location, and set player location. So to set that, we're going to get pawn, get player pawn, or character. I use pawn a lot because when you use character, it's going to pick your default player. But then if you possess something else, let's say you're flying a drone, it's going to misbehave. So the pawn usually resets the active pawn. Could be a vehicle, could be a character, could be your drone, could be an animal you possess in the game. So let's just set location to that location. Set location. That. Okay, that done. Let's connect this here. So I'll drag this out here and add a branch. And so this is where your condition goes to. So mine, previously what I did was just check 00, and 00 was my problem. So first of all, in this case, let me start by checking if it's empty. Valid. Right click on this and convert it to valid get. I don't have that function. So on this player progress, I think last location. Oh, okay. So there's a last location here, and I think I don't remember where I got it from. It's one of the actors on my main map. Yours is probably going to be a default of 00. So that was the whole point of checking 00 here. Uh, so if it's still empty, if it's still default, set the location right there. If it's not, then let's get this spawn again. No, actually get these two and set location right here. Okay, so there's a bunch of stuff you're going to be loading here to reduce the amount of nodes you have. Just select everything that's related to setting the location and right click on that, then convert to node, either nodes or macros. For me, I don't think there's any instance or inside this blueprint will be using the same code as it is. So just convert it to node. So set last node location. And I'm going to have a bunch of nodes like this to make it easy to read. So I just connect this output here and also connect this output here. You could add a different output if, let's say, you're checking true or false, but I'm not doing that. So one output for me is fine. Okay, so we're loading the last known location from the last save game, but we don't have a game saved yet. So go to save player progress and again get the game slot. Does exist, does save game exist? Put it right there. Crunch. So if it doesn't now, we're going to false. So if false, create save game. The save game object and the class will be the player progress. That's what I'm using. This could be different. And you could first player progress. So that means it's the same. It's the same class as this. Let me see if it works. Search. Okay, right. Then once you create the game, save it to slot. Save game to slot. And the slot would be your game slot. So in between creating the save game and saving it to slot, you could do a bunch of stuff. So for instance, let's say I have a macro called update save game variable. And in here, I'm taking the player progress and setting, let's say, set last known location. And so in this case, I'll get one and get location instead of setting it. I'll get location and set it right there. And so this macro is going to be what you use to save, all the save game data. Let me just resize this. And so with that done, if you want to first save a bunch of default variables before doing anything, just drag this a little bit outside and then set the player progress to this. And that means you're going to disconnect this one and save this the player progress. Get player progress, save it right there. And once the player progress is set, you're going to drag this macro here and make sure you save everything you want to save before, you set the variables you want to set before saving the game. Right there. So then that should work. It's a very basic setup, but you can expand on it. So let me see how that works for me. Let's play editor. And now, oh, wait. Oh no. So with that, I want to keep uh, updating, updating again. So what I'm going to do here, if save game already exists, I'm just going to go directly to player progress. To updating it. Okay, drag it right there. So I need to keep saving the player location, and then call these things. So event begin play. Let me get no. First of all, this will be create. I think I would need a different event for this, just so I can. No, no, let me just use it here directly. So if save game does not exist, we are supposed to call the save game custom event. So slow save progress. Okay, supposed to call this save progress, and event begin play. We're going to get active game, and once active game is called and it's done, it loads the progress. So without the progress, it's going to save game. Every tick you want to save the progress. So, and you could do this. You could either do this or just add a delay here, and this delay works based off of your own numbers. So every tick, event tick goes by every tick, which is a second. If you want it to have a delay, let's say you don't want to keep saving constantly, just add a delay here and call it again, save game. So if you do that, you can always call the function right here. You can just call it here. So yeah, save game slow. But no, save progress. Sorry. Save progress. Yeah. So for me, tick works just fine. And so that's what I'm going to do here. Instead of using my own delay, I'm going to use the tick and remove this delay here. I just noticed I did something in here. After delay, you call the same function you run. So in this case, it's save progress. So you save progress, not save game. So with that done, let me just remove the delay because I don't need it. And there's a possibility I'm going to spawn someone so far from the mob. Let me see. Oh, it did not. So to check if any of these functions are being called, I usually just use a print string. So get active game. Let me print string here. Getting active game. And the load progress. Print another string. Loading progress. And on the save game, print again, and this one's saving progress. So if the snippet works, then every tick I'm supposed to see a saving progress. Okay. Yeah, so it is saving. It is saving, but it's not spawning me at once. And the reason I'm running towards this building is to check if it's actually going to spawn me back right here. So let me just jump out of this. So if I exit now, I expect it to spawn me right here. Let me exit and then play again. Yeah, that's not supposed to happen. Okay, let's see. Let's go back to the character and make sure the component is actually added. Mm, let's do third person, blueprint, this guy, and mission. So this one seems to already exist. If I click edit mission, suppose, yeah, it's the correct one. So it is saving progress. Oh, I see what I did. I keep setting it back to 00 because I didn't connect the node here. So just connect it. And now I'm sure we have I'm sure you have a location. So it's supposed to send me all the building with the trees. I'll have to come back there. Whoa. Yeah, that's not supposed to happen. Let's go back here, so the GitHub. So teleport recursive info board. And this is load progress. Set person location. Then graph. Let me find references. So yeah, so it's only called once. It's not supposed to keep doing what it's doing. I'm going to remove this now that it's confirmed it's working. Like this. And remove this. So except can exist. Load game from slot. Cast this guy said but get progress. Okay, let's try again. Whoa. So just a quick fix for that. Let me go back to player and add something right here. So you don't need this. This just my debug tool. Or I don't know if I have an input for that. Let me just farm input always still integral. Line separate and strange crouch on. It's something like that as well. That's this part. Constraint and CQ mouse lights track and double steering. Okay, so I'm just going to use this toggle for now. And the player I call IA touch and then triggered get actors of class. Get all actors of class player start. And the reason I need this is to reset me back to player strategy in case I click through the ground like that. So get random item array, and get location, then get pawn, and set location. Oh. Okay, so set location for the pawn, set that to location, that location there, and that. So that should work fine for me. If I play, it probably will spawn. Okay, so you see, it spawned in the correct area. The problem is the location was below the map. So pressing tab sends me back to a random player start. I only have one player start. So I'll run to this building again. And I'm assuming it's saving at the moment as I run. So once I get there, It looks weird. Okay, once I get here, I'll exit again, play again. Yes, so that is supposed to spawn exactly where you stopped at. So yeah, that's it for this video, saving the player progress. The same concept will be used to save anything else. So in this macro, call all other variables you need, like let's say uh, player properties. I think set player properties, and then these player properties will is supposed to be a variable in your game. So that way, inside, let's say you call in some missions because this is the mission component. Somewhere in here, you're going to add, I'm going to add a property, and this is going to be the single property. So again, as we went through this property yesterday, there was a bunch of details here, the property location, name, Madonna has a garage, and such stuff. So that's exactly what you're going to do for every other variable. And I think yeah, that's it. I hope you get the concept. We'll get back to interface now that I have this one set up. Get back to interface and load the missions, load the properties, load the vehicles, everything that the player owns. And for those who've not seen the interface, this is what it looks like. So formations, has dimensions, properties. Well, it looks bad for now. We'll adjust it. The rest are still empty, like vehicles and settings. So thanks for watching. Share it whoever needs such tutorials.